And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley. Today, we have an awesome guest for you. His name is Mark Paul. He's an influencer, digital creator, funny all-around guy. And, you know, when I get to start talking about baseball, because I was a baseball coach, I was a PE teacher before I got into the sales gig, it was one of those things that is really funny, you know. And when I saw Mark, I kind of compared him a little bit to Domingo Ayala because he's just super funny, super good dude. And it's a great thing to talk to these people. You might hear me geek out a little bit about baseball, kind of like you did last time about nutrition. So let's get right into it with Mark. Mark, what's happening? How you doing? Good. You know, it's awesome to kind of see what you have going on. Like I was talking about in the intro there. You know, I don't know if you know who Domingo Ayala is, but he's super funny. And it kind of just reminds me because when I coached baseball in high school, at the high school level, it was just funny because there's the travel ball kids and the kind of things that you go through and everything that you kind of do your satirical like clips and videos and things on just kind of just reminds me of that. It's like, this is the true story. This is what is actually happening.
Like the Howard Stern of travel balls, what they call me.
How did
tell
you?
How it is.
Yeah, exactly. How did you get into this?
TikTok was a big thing. Just getting ready to start out. I had a daughter. She was 14 at the time, and she was like, "You need to make a TikTok." And we were at the last year of this like 9-year-old team or 9U. That U is important.
Yes.
On this 9-year-old team, and everybody was just kind of fed up with everything, and it was so heavy, you know, because we live in this small town. And like, there's all these like jocks parents who like were big deals in the high school. It's like Varsity Blues out here. That movie. It's like a town, and everybody cares about travel ball.
Right.
But what they really care about is they just want their kids to be popular, and they wanted them to play shortstop, and they wanted them to be the quarterback, and they wanted them to be the point guard, and they want them to be the best at every position they play because that's how the parents were out here. And now they need their kids to be that same way. So we would sit around and it was always like, man, they were like, this could be a reality show. And that's all I heard. And then Macy was really big in TikTok and that was going on then. Everybody was like, you can make a TikTok about that. So then I would say that all the time, like, you know, be a funny TikTok. And it was just getting to the point of just putting the phone in front of your face. Cause I'm the same dude in real life as I am on the, on the social media stuff. Yeah. I just have a step to my face now. And so that's kind of how that started. And it was what it was the last year and everybody was done. Like we all knew that nobody was going to come back for the 10-year-old. Like two of the coaches were like, I'm going to move my kid up next year. Like, no, you weren't, dude. You knew that everybody was done with you and you wanted an easy way out. And I was just like seeing it. But we were the cool parents on the team because we got in good with like everybody who was on the team. And I mean, you had them from like the young parents all the way to the old parents, you know, and then there was a police officer on the team. There was like an alcoholic on the team. And there was like a parent team. And then there was like the all-star. I mean, everybody had this little like, you know, this little category they all was specialized in. And I was the dude that just kind of came out from like another city who moved out here and just kind of was like, well, look at all this, you know? And so
it's all the stereotypes that you just get, dude, right? Like they're just all there. You see them.
Yeah. Everything was there. And it was a reality show in the making. And then I just started venting about it for about 6 months about that particular team. And then people got mad at me and stuff. And like, I know you were talking about me. And I was like, no, I wasn't. And I was like, yeah, I was.
That's got to be one of the hardest parts is when those people start to talk back to you, because obviously you're going to see that. I mean, you're going to see, oh, that was me. I did that. This is, you know, you feel real convicted about it.
I'm a pretty nice guy and people don't always take me 100% serious. So I just kind of ramble and like they don't really look too much into it until, you know, some of them are like, man, that one hits close to home there. And I was like, yeah, but 100,000 other people were laughing because they were saying it's the same thing on their team too. So you'll be all right. And, you lose a couple friends in this and stuff. But at the end of the day, it was just, man, I was just bringing it actually got to a point to where there were so many videos that it became informative for parents to join travel ball. And now, I mean, the level this has got to with me it's been kind of wild, the avenues that this has just kind of went on out on, never mind the videos, just where it went after that. And I got fired because of this, a year and a half ago. And I got 3 new businesses now because of it. And I've signed some MLB players. And I mean, Hilton, Gators, a lot of people that are trying to get me right now. And I get flown all over the country to go to travel ball games just to be a guest. And speak at these things, but brand building. I mean, I've done it all now, and I've hung out with celebrities, and I'm just some litlittle redneck from, Bullitt County, Kentucky, and I'm nobody, and I'm trying to figure it all out, man. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's exhausting. It is getting to the point where it is just a lot to juggle. Cause I'm married. I've been married 16 years and I got 2 kids, a 16 and 11-year-old now. And my son's really good at that's even another issue, because you can't push him out on social media and talk about how great he is without getting the backlash of, oh, well, you're playing daddy ball now. And I'm like, oh my God, my kid off. He pitched a no-hitter, and they're like, sure he did. Look who he is, You're like,
yeah.
So,
so you said you got fired from your job a year and a half ago. What did you do before you were doing this?
I was an electric designer. I did a lot of stuff in AutoCAD. I would draw lines and circles on a print, and then I'd give it to a construction crew, and they go. It was a utility company I worked at. Actually, it was a conveyor belt company. I worked at a utility designer, a utility electric designer, or utility company out here for about 20 years, or 16. And then I took a job a little closer to home where I did the same kind of thing for UPS, FedEx, and Amazon, which was more of an indoor electric design inside of buildings. And I did that for 3 years. There just happened to be a really nice baseball field right next door. It was 4 minutes from my house. So you see a couple of videos, and next thing you know, you got about 10,000 followers, and you think you're kind of like, well, look at me go. And everybody's kind of making you're sneaking out next door making baseball mom videos at this brand new park because it's a good backdrop. And I started to just kind of figure out how to post videos, and I'm almost 40. So I cared about, analytics and how do you get the most followers, and because I needed to win at it. And little did I know I was creating this niche market that nobody ever really tapped into except for Domingo. And, I guess I've been told I'm the next, part 2 to him. So,
yeah. Well, so what is your background in baseball? I mean, did you play in high school? Did you play other sports?
Oh, no, man. I was just some drunk softball player back in the day. And I looked like I was an all-star. I mean, I had the build of like, man, because everybody's like, man, where'd you play at? And I was like, sometimes I tell people the truth. Sometimes I don't. I told somebody the other day I was shortstop for the Yankees, and A-Rod and me are best friends. And they're like, man, really? And I was like, no. And my background was this, man. I was really into weightlifting and fitness, and I always looked like I could play really good sports, but they always end up putting me on I always get picked first because I was a little in shape. And then the more when they see me play, they were like, man, why don't you go sit the bench? So I was able to look at it because from a different kind of level. Most people were jocks, I played ball in high school. I sat the bench, so I was like, I knew what it felt like to not be on top. And then my son was really good, and my daughter was a little more like I was. We looked the part, but we were just kind of too much in our head, and we were too arrogant. And my son was very calm, and I was like, wow. I was like, he's got the whole demeanor that you would want, and he's a popular kid, and he doesn't care. And I was like, well, that's a new way to look at things. So I kind of was always like, you need to be more, arrogant a little bit. And then I was like, maybe he's got it. And if I just kind of tweak him here and there and say, hey man, if you just had a little more confidence in this area and and you did this a little more, it might help you out. And he's turned into a cool little player. And I think my best thing about me is I think I'm a really decent coach because I can adapt to different types of people. I don't meet I don't mean it. I get along with the different types of kids, and I was able to see. I was always the one that was like could find a common, like the kid who would lose his mind on the mound. I could have a nice talk with him and on his level, but that's a very different level than having that talk with the kid that cusses and throws his bat over here, or the one that doesn't say anything at all. So how do you get into good with that? I think that just came from me just doing, things throughout my lifetime. I was a janitor, and then I worked in the corporate office, very high level. So I was able to, be out back with the guys smoking cigarettes by the dumpsters and having a good conversation. But I could also dress up in a suit and go over some documents at a very professional, meeting room. And I was always just taking everybody apart all the time, like a comedian would.
Yeah.
And I would always kind of laughter at everything, and it got me in trouble. But now it's the job now, so that's what people want. So
it's opened the door for a lot of opportunity. I mean, I was watching, you were live the other day, and you were with, who were you with? Reggie Sanders?
Yeah, I was with a bunch of those dudes, man.
Yeah.
That Kyle Farnsworth is jacked, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, that's happening. You're getting kind of these sponsor deals. You're an entrepreneur. Yeah. You've got your own kind of like clothing line, sunglasses, things like that. Tell us a little bit about that and how that kind of opened up for you.
Well, I started, I did a video, there was a local e-commerce company out here. And they were from Louisville, and they knew me, and I had about 40,000 followers, and they were like, well, we would like for you to speak at this, this meeting thing we had in Sarasota, Florida. So I went out there, and all these companies were there, like Rawlings and Easton and Evo Shield and all these, and they were like, and I just drank with all of them, and they were like the corporate people, were like the national sales rep. Some of them were MLB players, some of them were agents, and I was just kind of just this redneck dude, and they were like, man, you're funny, man, let's go golf. So then we all got hammered. Next thing I know, they all sent me a bunch of stuff, and they were like, man, would you promote this for me? And I was like, yeah. And then one day, the people that I was working with, in that e-commerce thing, I wasn't anything crazy. It was just, I was getting a couple $100 a month, and I thought it was awesome. And they were like, hey, man, you could do this on your own. You don't need to promote everybody else's stuff. Why don't you just come out with like a t-shirt? And hold on, my dog's like trying to scratch at the door. I'm gonna come with you. So anyways, I was, my buddy who did e-commerce, he was like, man, if you just made like a t-shirt, I can show you how to kind of put it on a real cheap little website. So I came out with like a whatever you say blue shirt, because my buddy used to say it all the time to umpires when he would yell at them, and then outfield matters, because the parents were all like, oh my God, why is my kid not going to play middle infield all the time? And I was like, 6 years old, who cares? And so they didn't want their kids to go in right field ever, and it was such a punishment. The kids would cry, and I was thinking, well, the ball never goes out to the infield anyway, or it never goes out to the outfield anyways. What are you whining about? There's that's supposed to be a position, just rotate them. And they were like, no, this kid's really good at short. And I was like, oh my God. So then I was like, dude, outfield's okay. Like Bryce Harper gets paid a lot of money, it's going to be fine. And, so then that kind of turned into a t-shirt. Then it was more t-shirts. And then it was like, well, then I cared about margins a little bit, because the guy I was with was like, man, he was like, you can bake this for this and sell it for this, but you don't need to sell it for $300 like Oakley does. You can probably sell it for like 50 or 80. And so come out with some sunglasses, which really all I did was just kind of find out where Oakley and 100% made theirs, overseas, like where they made the mold, where they first got it at. And then I was like, well, I'll slap an MP3 on it. And that was my name. MP is Mark Paul, 3 is because I have 3 first names. My middle name's Thomas. And that's my daughter made that.
That's a good one.
And, and so here it is right there.
Yeah.
So then we had it just so happened that we reached out, or somebody knew an agent or something, and it was so cool because it was like an MLB agent. And I was like, dude, can we get these MP3s on a baseball player? And he goes, no. And I was like, why? He goes, because nobody wants to wear somebody else's stuff. And I was like, crap. So he goes, but if you change the name of it and do something different, we literally did that the second we got off the phone with him. We created a website. It took us about a month, and we had it built, and we named it Solero Shades. Uh-huh. And now MLB players wearing that. Well, one right now. I'm getting ready to sign another one. And I just signed Briley St. Clair, who's a softball, a girl from Mississippi State, and they're promoting them now. And I'm just kind of a co-owner, so I'm not doing that. And so that turned into this Amazon thing that we're pushing out. Batting gloves came into play, and then, that's kind of how that went. And right now, I've got the MP3 Baseball website, mp3baseball.com website, and then I have the Solero Shades. And then we just recently started another thing called Dinger's Agency, which is because we were having so many meetings with all these kids who had these MLB agents, and I was looking at their websites and the background on these agents, and I'm thinking, man, this dude ain't no agent. He was the guy who was on a soap opera for 3 months, and he thought he was somebody.
So when you say you have kids who have agents, how old are these kids who have these agents?
Man, like 18 and stuff.
Okay, so they're kind of there. It's not like 11, 12-year-old kids with agents.
No, but you do start seeing some of them that have like 10,000 followers who were like 14 on Instagram, and you're thinking, well, man, like you could totally send that kid some big league chew gum or some sunglasses or whatever, and just say, hey, man, if you're interested in maybe working with me, I could be, because I'm able to tap into the parents and they trust me.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely deliver a good quality. And I was thinking, I've seen so many of these kids get, meaning kids, like a few of the people we talk to who are athletes. You're not, this is nothing. Like, if you let me just help you out, then I could get you better deals. And then I wasn't going to try and screw you over. I'm like, this is how you can create your own website.
Right.
This is how you can create the same thing I did, and so you start them off, you send them some sunglasses and you let them wear it, you give them a promo code, and the kids are happy, the parents are happy. And then once they get a little bit older, you're like, okay, now look, if you really want to do this and you are a higher athlete, then, I can help you out. And that kind of got the attention of, a lot of these tournament organizations around the country. And I've been selling wholesale sunglasses to them. You're meeting top talented kids from everywhere who follow me, and they got real potential to play at a higher level, because I've seen the highest level of travel ball now. I've been involved in it. And so that's kind of, I thought it would be important to have somebody who they could just trust. And so we started doing some stuff with that, and it's been a pretty cool thing. But it's just very new right now with that little agency thing. So, yeah.
It's funny how the sunglasses have made changes over, because I'm 42. So I started out, the first pair of Oakleys I ever had were in frames. And now they're like coming back to that in-frame look, that big, giant look. And the ones that you have, they look just like, I can't remember what the ones I have. I have some Oakleys that look
just,
yeah.
And a lot of people doing that now too. It's not, people figured out it's not that hard. So then I kind of went off on this other thing, because once you spend so much money with these sunglasses, developers or whatever, they're like, hey, you could create your own color scheme if you do this, and you've spent a lot of money, 100%, and Oakley didn't want these, but what do you think of these? And we were like, yeah, how do I get my color on that? And can you trim off the sides a little more, make it a little sleeker? So that's kind of what we did. And then we just figured out how to make it look like, open it in an iPhone, like an experience, and then gave everybody lifetime warranties and didn't charge them $300.
Yeah.
And it's been a cool little business. It's been fun, because it's neat seeing it come to life.
Well, you can watch like you said, coming to life. It's kind of cool to be able to just walk out and go, hey, that guy's wearing something that I designed or something that I made.
Yeah, it's really neat, especially when they're on an MLB guy. We just signed the number 11th pick of the draft. His name's Nolan. He's playing for the he was in Double A. He just got moved to Single A. And now they're talking about putting him. He's going to the Angels, and so he's balling right now. So
it's funny. These kids are coming up quicker and quicker. It seems like I'm watching the Giants, and they've got, because I'm a Giants fan, but they have all their guys just like they're bringing up, Patrick Bailey, Casey Schmidt, all these guys that are in the minors. Like they're just like, all right, we're going to bring you up. Where before it was like, we'll bring you up for a game or two, and then we'll send you back down. And they're just leaving them because they get that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I was with a guy this past weekend. His name was Brody, I believe it was, or Brock. I can't remember the name. I have it wrote down. I know it's horrible. He's going to Iowa, and dude throws 101. And I was like, hey, here's my card. And me and him kind of hung in, and he's going to be really good. I think it was Brody Brecht, Brecht, I believe his name was. But he's a really good kid. And so it's neat talking to those kids who, I've been doing the same thing my son's been doing, and there he is. And he's 6'4", and he's standing there, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, my son's, 6 years older than you, and you were doing the same thing he was, and now you got a real shot of becoming, something real special here, and I'm involved with that. And those East Cobb kids, running around with East Cobb out there, those Astros teams, they're all are just prospects, just being thrown into the majors, and I'm kind of doing a little bit of stuff with them now, and so that's really cool, especially when they come up to you and they're like, man, when they all walk, dude, this was so cool. We were in that room with like 40 MLB dudes. They're all retired. I'm sure they all had over 40 million apiece. I mean, they were big all stars from back, 10 years ago. All these teenager kids walk in. They're like, "Oh my God, that's Mark Paul over there." And I was like, "Let's go, baby!" And I was like, "What up, Reggie Sanders? Get some of that."
Yeah, they don't even know who the baseball players are. But they know who you are.
Low key, I didn't know some of them wasn't either. I was like, "Where's A-Rod?"
Yeah, right.
Those dudes were cool, man. There was a couple dudes there that were Super Bowl champs running around in there. And I'm telling you, man, when some of them dudes turned on the Jets, run to first, I was like, man, dude. I mean, to see that up close it's cool.
It's crazy because when you get next to those people, they're kind of larger than life. You see them on TV or whatever, but there's a couple guys. I live in Boise, Idaho, and I sell window coverings. So I go into these houses sometimes I'm in Boise State football coaches' houses, or sometimes I'm in, like, I was Darren College. I went into his house, and he's an offensive lineman that played for the Packers, and Shea McClellan, who played for the Patriots. They're not big name people or whatever, but you walk up to those guys and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
you are big. You don't look this big. You don't move like you're that big.
That Kyle Farnsworth, bro. Like, that dude, he retired from the MLB. Then he played some football. Then he's out with a bodybuilder. And he walked in. Everybody just kind of stopped. And I was like, and he was that dude that got in that big old fight on that YouTube thing with the Reds or something, where he bum rushed that mound. Or he was, I don't remember. And it was, to see some of them.
Yeah.
And the way, and that one dude was telling you about was friends with Jordan. And I was like, man, you got the same shoes on as Michael Jordan's yacht. He's like, which one? And I was like, which? Yeah. And I was like, he goes, and they were like, oh yeah, he golfs with him every week. And I'm like, and then you just see they're all dressed up and they smell all good. And they're like, they're probably in their, early 50s now. And they just got their stuff together, but they're still like real in shape. But they all kind of wobble around everywhere because their knees are all jacked up.
Right.
But they
well, it doesn't
play in the
yeah, it doesn't go away though, right? You think for most people, like, I mean, if you're an athlete and you retire, you got to find an outlet.
Well, they all got businesses now, and now they're all on Instagram, and so that's kind of where we've been talking, and I've made a lot of cool friends down. Every one of them dudes were cool as hell, for real.
Yeah. I saw that you follow, it was funny. I saw that you follow Eric Burns, and I've been watching him lately because huge Will Clark fan, and he keeps having Will Clark on there. It's like every time I see that pop up, I'm like into it because Will Clark is funnier than hell. And
that's cool. Yeah, I remember that dude. But no, I've had a lot of like cool like athletes and celebrities that have followed me, and you do get to a point where it's. I did get a little starstruck with Reggie Sanders. Alyssa Milano wrote me too on Instagram because she's a travel ball mom, and then I kind of her for a minute because I was like, oh my God, I had a poster of you on my wall. Can I send your kids some sunglasses, please? And then she didn't respond after that, but it was cool because we had a little back and forth. Yeah. But no, it's cool, and you find everybody just kind of normal, It's just they're all they really are doing the same thing I am. It's that they get these deals, and if you see them on the screen, then there they are. If you don't, well, you don't hear about them anymore, and so that's why you got to stay relevant. And this is year 3, and it's a lot. I mean, this that nobody you can't compare it to. No, that's not. I call my buddies up like that work sucked today. Now it's 24/7, man, and if you're not pushing that stuff out. And quite frankly, man, I'll be 40 this year, and I'm tired. I've been running around for the last year. This whole season I have been in 6 different states in the last 30 days, and I'm sick of flying, and I'm flying to Dallas in 2 days again. And if you don't take your foot off you got to keep your foot down, man, or you're paid now. I mean, I'm self-employed. My wife's self-employed, and 401k is nothing now. And you don't get insurance, and you're paying for it. It's just,
how do you negotiate that? I mean, I feel like, are you doing it all on your own? Are you creating all your own content just on your phone? Is someone recording it for you now? Do you have people?
I'm doing all of it on my own. I'm doing that on my own. I'm shipping the shirts out on my own. My business partner's doing the sunglasses and the gloves from his house. We've got other things coming out. I got a fall line about to come out with training gear. There's some little knickknacks in there, some mom gifts and whatnot. We're getting ready to sign this glove company. which is honestly, it's a really cool little glove company, but I don't expect it to be like no A2000 or Heart of the Hide. But it is the same quality as those gloves, but you do pay for the name. And so this guy's got a pretty good little company he started, and we'll be meeting with him this weekend to finalize some stuff. So I'll have some sort of gloves that are really cool looking on my site. But I mean, it's just hard to tap into. Well, we're going to be the new Easton Hype bat now, or we're going to have a Rawlings, Heart of the Hide. That's not going to happen. But you've got $100 cheaper than those are. Maybe you never know, and you get a couple percentages, and you start learning how to use other people's following and how to help them. Where you can generate, some income on it. But look, man, when they tell you it takes 3 to 5 years to start up a company, it does. And I've got people right now wanting to buy my companies, which is cool. But then I got other people saying, don't sell it. Yeah. Because you got to be careful there, because it could be bigger down the road. And that's all very new to me. And I do, my uncle was a retired, he's retired from Tractor Supply. He was CEO there. The guy that I'm my business partner, he was involved. He's the youngest councilman in Forbes, and he's wrote a couple of bestsellers. Very, very high level marketing email guy, and so he helps me. And then we just signed somebody at Solero. She's kind of doing the videos with Solero for us, and we have a guy who's doing SEO and the website, and that's it. And then the MP3 stuff is just me and my business partner. And Upwork is a company we use where you can hire people from different parts of the world to pay them to design, sunglasses that are renderings, and they won't charge you an arm and a leg. And there's little ways to figure it out to do it affordable. And we just try and cut costs as much as we can, still deliver a high quality product. And now I sound like a businessman.
Oh, no. It's funny because I'm thinking about like how you do, like, because I've been podcasting this will probably be episode like 220, 223.
Man,
I've been doing it for like,
for you, man.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while, and it hasn't really like took off, but I'm trying to get, I'm not going to quit. Like there's no quit involved in this. It's just like trying to find that, and it's start hard. Off. Yeah.
I would take clips. I consult to how to build your brand. Like you could take clips of this. I'm sure you've already done that.
Yeah, I already do it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's hard, man. I mean, everybody's got a podcast. They want me to do one. And I'm thinking, well, why? I could just do that on a live stream.
Yeah.
It's just, there it is. And then who needs that? But it is cool because I'd love to talk about travel ball all day long and work out some things. But right now I just don't have the time. I've been going around to speaking about it instead and trying to use that as content. And man, this lifestyle is a hustle.
What you're doing is working. I think I'm sure you probably know who Gary Vee is, but you just like watch that guy and he just does it. He's got his phone recording him all the time, and there's nothing like, I got a mic here and I got a camera here, like I got some setup stuff here, but like he just does it. Like it doesn't even matter. And he's huge because he just, and you kind of do that. You just record your life and just.
Yeah, I just vent is all I do. I mean, I could go right now down the list of any travel ball parent you could think of and just kind of pick them apart. Even when you see them at games now, you're like, well, there's the alpha mom. There's the DJ. Oh, that must be the nurse. Oh, she thinks her kid's better than what he really is. And then you could just kind of down it so much. And then you just kind of put it, I like to, when I'm acting like myself, acting like other people, and I'm not calling everybody out, it's just me making fun of me. It's kind of, and I just grew. That wasn't the way it was in the beginning. I was just watching TikToks and was like, that's how that guy does it. Well, how was he talking to himself now? And I'm thinking, Now my thing is, well, I'm getting ready to get two of me in the same room at one time. I've been working on that. Going to have a conversation with myself on the screen like, hey, Mark, how's it going? Pretty good. You're kicking him. Oh, he's not, his dad ain't the coach. Okay. So
yeah, it's crazy because you look at that and you were talking about like all these personas that these parents have. Like it's crazy because it's there. How do you, like in the beginning, I'm sure, like you said, it was different, but now it's kind of like you see all that stuff, and do you get tired of it? Like,
yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with me is that I've been able to go across the country now to a lot of different states, and I can tell you who's got the better travel ball. When you come here, and it's no disrespect to anybody, it's just certain states and certain areas are just not on that level. Like Kentucky's a lot different than Georgia. Like out here in Louisville, it's not East Cobb, and and you know, even Grand Park, you know, they've got some big tournaments, but that's not the stuff going on in Houston. Or, you know, there's North Carolina teams that are really, really. I watched a 6'2", 11-year-old who just turned 12, literally that month, hit the ball 365 feet. He is not going to be a baseball player. He's most likely going to be a football player. Then you watch that team just run over everybody, because I was at a tournament with 90-something teams in it. I seen it. You come back out here, and then everybody's just so into this, oh my gosh, why doesn't he get a play? Because they all want their kids at that level.
Right.
I'm like, that's probably not going to happen. I'm not saying it can't, but like you know how you've seen ESPN. You're like, well, we just found this 6th grader who's 7'1", he can dunk the ball now. And you're like, well, my sweet little angel out here can't do that. But they don't know no better.
Right.
They hear a lot of these people have these watered down travel ball leagues that are basically rec ball, and they travel an hour radius all season long, and they play the same teams. Then they travel to Florida to go to a World Series, and then all the other teams from out here go with them because they're all friends, and then you're not doing anything. But at the end of the day, they're still 11. Most of them haven't gone through puberty yet. Let them have time to catch up, and that's where I think I come in, because I'm like, hey, everybody just take a seat back. Some people want to play multiple sports. Some people don't. The ones that don't want to just play baseball year round, and that's a whole other deal there, you know.
Right.
And so you these different levels, and some parents have more money than others. They can just afford to travel. This has been expensive for me.
It is not cheap.
In this country, I've been to my son's team had 6 out of town tournaments this year. Had nothing to do with me, you know. And those parents on that team, well, they it's what they wanted to do. Most of those kids just play baseball. Out here, you know, where I'm at, 'cause we drive about an hour away for my kid to play. Out here, a lot of the parents want their kids to play multiple sports, and that's fine too. And then I'm traveling around everywhere else, seeing, you know, all these top talent, and then you have to bring it back down, because you don't want to be that arrogant guy that's like, well, your kid ain't ever going to make it. But at the same time, you know, they've got their own drama going on, and it's a big deal to them. And like I said, I'm in this niche little area where not a lot of people get to like experience. So I try and just be like, hey guys, you know, look, just get them better, you know, and, do what's right for your kid. Don't do what's right for yourself.
Right.
And that's, you know, and I could spend a whole hour talking to you about, you know, how to handle different types of coaches, parents, and kids on a team. I'm doing that this weekend at a baseball mom summit.
It's crazy because they like there. In high school, it was weird. It was really eye opening, because going from being a player to being a coach, you like all of a sudden see it completely differently. And especially at the high school level, for me, it's like, you're always taught, you know, like freshmen, they're just developing. So you want to get everyone as much playing time as you can in JV. They get a little more specialized, and you might not play as much, but you're going to play your best. And then varsity, it's like, who cares? If your kid's not the best player on the team, the coach is going to lose his job if he doesn't make a winning team. And
that's not, you know, and that right there is happening at 6, 7, 8, and 9 years old right now. There's a bunch of parents who create these teams. And if they don't like the way things are going, then the other parents will branch off, and then they'll create a team. And now everybody's got a travel ball team, you know, and then levels is another thing. Oh, well, they're AA or they're AAA or they're major. Well, that's a whole other deal. You know, I know a lot of that here in my area. And guess what? There's only about 4 major kids on that team. There's not 12. Those parents think there's 12 because they're titled as a major team or a national team. You know, what about a single A team or a rec ball team? You know, there's kids playing rec ball right now that are really good. Maybe there's a couple of them, seen them yet, you know, and they may be 6 foot tall next year and they're 12. You know, there's a lot of pieces to this. And I think if you just do what's best for your kid when you first start off, let him or her make some decisions. You know, don't always make it about the parent. Don't let your kids get involved with the drama. They don't want to hear that. I know kids right now that know everything that's going on behind closed doors with the coaches and the parents. And then that trickles on down to the dugout at 9 or 10. Well, my dad says you're not even any good anymore. And it's like, what? Next thing you know, he goes home, tells, you know, mama. And she's like, well, did you hear what happened? Now they don't like the parents anymore. And it was all a bunch of rumors, you know, or was it? And so I didn't play baseball for real on that level. I did play, you know, I know the game, you know, but I don't know it that well. But I think I have figured out how to manage it all. And I can put the moving pieces in because I'm the one that does look at it like, hey, they are still children, and it's just about getting them better. And if they don't want to play anymore, then don't make them. That's it.
And you kind of answered my question about that, because it sounds like that's probably what you do with your son as well. Like, he just let him do what he wants to do. If he wants to play, you're going to support him in any way that you can. And if he doesn't, then you can't. And
he has access to do anything he wants. Yesterday, he was like, let's go hit. All right, cool. We went to the batting cage about 5 minutes from my house. I get access there because I'm famous. So he's got a machine out there. He hits him, but then he had a blister on his hand. Well, I know Dad's way through it. You need to learn how to play through pain. Well, I was like, we've been here for 30 minutes. You ready to go? All right, cool. Went home, played some Fortnite. He woke up, said, hey, man, you want to go throw? Sure. All right, well, let's warm up. We throw on the sidewalk, and then we eventually get to long toss. Hey, man, this is going to make you stronger someday. Just make sure you take care of that thing. And, well, I think we've had enough. Let me know if you want to tomorrow, and I'm into fitness. I'm into nutritionists and all that. I ain't been doing very good here lately. But he's kind of got into that whole role, and I'm thinking, you really could be a good athlete because you got a good demeanor. He'd be a heck of a golfer because he doesn't care about it. So if the second he's done with baseball, we're going straight to the course. Yeah. I'll be doing TikTok videos about golf dads. I know that was a hole in one, but they didn't put it on the game changer on the golf thing.
That's a whole nother niche you can jump into.
I'm going to have a couple talks with my buddy who's running it right now. There's a few things he messed up on. Yeah, Chris, we're going to talk about that. No, man. I have no... The best part about all this is that my wife and my family, we have figured out a way to be really, really cool with everybody who we've met and whose teams we've been on. And we've figured out a way to leave teams, still be cool with other parents, not all of them, but most of them. And really just kind of get rid of the drama, because they know that, where I stand now. And I just try and bring all I want to do now is to make these videos. They're becoming a positive for parents. I've had a ton of people reach out to me saying, hey, because of you, we started Travel Ball. Now we know what to look for, what we know what not to look for. You're bringing light to a situation. I'm bringing happiness to it. I got this new line coming out that's going to target umpires right now. And it's a percentage of the sales. I've got some slide mitts getting ready to come out that they say I love blue on it. When you slide back, the blue percentage of that is going to go to help umpires, learn. Look, it's a marketing thing. I'm not going to say
it is. It's like, but you're smart enough to figure out, you're creative enough to capitalize on it.
And I'm thinking, well, I just won't charge you an arm and a leg for them. And I'll put a little percentage that goes to bettering, the classes that you take. And let's talk about how you handle a crazy parent. I mean, you're making $50 an hour out here, umpiring a 7-year-old game. You're getting cussed out because you made a bad call and they want to show you their phone like it's instant replay. No, we're not MLB here. Just, and so that's kind of my thought, because I didn't want to just be some funny comedian. I am doing stand-up, though, on a cruise ship next year on a Royal Caribbean. It's a travel ball cruise.
Nice.
And I'm doing a PG version with the kids. And then 11:30, oh, yeah.
You get to let her loose.
That night. Oh, yeah. You wait and see. I'm throwing everybody under the bus then. I'm going to talk about real travel ball now. This is really going on, the stuff I couldn't post. Yeah. Y'all need to shut up and start quit doing this stuff.
Well, tell us again where we can find you. It's been awesome talking to you. I really enjoy this. I could talk for hours. But
thank you. Yeah, dude, I never shut up. I drank an energy drink at the gym today. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on YouTube, getting ready to start that off. I got LinkedIn now. MP3baseball.com has travel ball merch. Solero Shades has premium sunglasses worn by MLB players now. Getting ready to go on Amazon. And then I have, I don't really push the agency thing because all these parents are just going to start blowing me up, being like, you need to look at my kid. I see him, and then he's like, he's snot's coming out of his nose, and he's 3 years old. I'm like, what are we going to? But that's where I'm at, and that's my deal there.
Well, I appreciate you. Just, I messaged you out of the blue. You got lots of followers, a lot of people. You get to that level, and some people are just like, yeah, whatever. I don't even look there, and you came right back. So I appreciate you doing it, man.
I try and answer as many as I can. The messages are getting really crazy. Email is the best way to get a hold of me. And now a lot of people starting to find out my phone number. And so that's a whole thing. But But yeah, I appreciate the support from everybody. You hear celebrities say it, but there's zero way this happens without, some sort of following. And what I want to do is just make travel ball more of a positive, because it is a lot of fun. I have it's like watching like a Super Bowl or an NCAA tournament basketball game, and you're watching the best player, your favorite player on the field, and then you're tailgating. We're not doing anything wrong. Trust me, but a lot of fun. And honestly, man, if my kid never makes it to the majors, this right here was good enough, because he's got a story, and we've got the documentation right here to prove it. So I got our whole life right there on travel ball, and it won't ever go away. And so I'm happy. If anything, I made people happy. So
yep, you make a lot of people laugh. So keep doing it.
Thank you very much, Wes. I appreciate the support, man. All
right. Well, thanks again, and we will chat soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely, man. Anytime you want, man, just shoot me a text. 100% will come back on.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Well, I wanted to thank Mark again for hanging out with us. It's a really fun topic, and if you want to hear a little bit more of the conversation, you can join the Patreon for as little as $4 a month. Currently, just started out, so we got Nikola Pavlovich. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you want to join the Patreon, again, the links will be in the show notes. And you can help me upgrade the show, get better equipment, things like that. Get some guests like Mark on here. And until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.